chairman of the House Oversight and Government Reform Committee. And Congressman Issa joins us now. Congressman, thanks for being with us.
Well, thanks for covering this story. It's so important that we get it right and we get it behind us, meaning they don't do it again.
Well, and this is the point here because, you know, all these guns got out on the street. We're still missing, I want to make sure our facts are right, about 1,600 of them are unaccounted for, right?
Roughly 1,600, and they will turn up over the next decade, I'm sure.
Yeah, and we have 2 dead agents as a result of this. You know, one of the things you and I discussed at one point, Congressman, was, you know, there would have been a very simple way because of technology to track this. For example, I have a friend of mine who has an 18-year-old son who got a speeding ticket, and the way now he monitors his son's driving is he puts a GPS in the car, and he goes on every time he drives. He's able to go and look at the GPS data, I guess is what you call it, and see when the kid was driving, where he was driving, how fast he was driving, and then you would think that they could put that in the guns, and that would bring us right to where they wanted to go, wouldn't it?
Oh, absolutely. And actually, there's technology would even be better than that, which would be one that sat there dormant waiting for a signal for months. And then when you turned it on, you could find out where it was and it wouldn't be detectable. But all of those kinds of things were not part of this plan. This plan was let them have the guns, see them at the scene of the crime, and then think you could connect the dots. And clearly that was fallacy, and the arrests that the very limited amount of arrests, 19 out of 20 of them have been for the straw purchasers. They never rolled up the kind of people that they said they were going to, because this particular program never could have led to that.
Do you interpret this to be a cover-up?
I do, and I think it's a cover-up because they simply don't want us looking at the political appointees who were part of this flawed decision process, whether it was Attorney General, Deputy Attorney General Lanny Brewer, or the U.S. Attorney locally, or a policy that reversed what President George W. Bush had said. George W. Bush fired U.S. attorneys who would not enforce gun laws. This U.S. Attorney in Phoenix wasn't enforcing gun laws, and yet they were authorized and overseeing a program to let high-powered weapons walk to Mexico. There's something inherently wrong with both of those decisions.
Well, and you did point out earlier, and I read a comment that you had made, that the president, you feel, was kind of parsing his words specifically and gave a very Clintonian answer. Can you explain that?
Well, you know, when he says did not authorized is as far as he would go. Well, look, I don't expect the president to have authorized a specific investigation or program. I don't expect the Attorney General necessarily to have authorized every aspect of this. Yeah. But I would be shocked that the Attorney General was not briefed on how a U.S. agent or 2 U.S. agents died. Well, you know, on the day that Gabby Gifford was shot, I've got to tell you, there were emails flying around everywhere because people were concerned that this was a fast and furious weapon that had shot her. That kind of panic doesn't stay just at the local level. Yeah. It goes up and down, and it's one of the reasons that the stonewalling they're doing and the cover-up they're doing just makes us believe that this was more than it seems even now. And it seems like enough that people's heads should roll, and we should have new safeguards to make sure this could never happen again.
Congressman, you're talking about a cover-up of this magnitude. This is a crime. Am I correct?
Well, there's no question lying to Congress is a crime. Telling us things that aren't true, which have occurred, are a crime. But the biggest crime was breaking faith with the American people. And now one of the biggest crimes is this if you will, new set of rules along the border where they're forcing additional gun databases for weapons sold and justifying it based on gun violence that they helped create. And that's where you start looking and saying, I'm not going to promote a conspiracy, but you have to wonder, couldn't you find a better time to suggest that you need more gun reporting than when, in fact, we're looking at you're helping so many guns promote gun violence, including the loss of Brian Terry?
As they have stonewalled and delayed sending you documents, emails, correspondence, as they have sent you redacted things, you've also had back-channel whistleblowers in this case, so you get to compare the 2 documents so you know what they're up to. On the other hand,
absolutely.
And on the other hand, you also have agents that are showing up that want to tell you the truth. They're not showing up with Justice Department attorneys. They're showing up with their own attorneys. So do you feel like you have fully gotten to the bottom of this yet?
No, but we wouldn't have gotten where we've gotten if it wasn't for very brave men, and right now they happen to all be men, who have come forward and risked their jobs, their careers, to give us information as whistleblowers. And I'm very proud of all the people who have come forward without the Justice Department attorneys, so they can tell us what they really believe. And they've been pretty candid. They've been candid because ATF, and for that matter, the other law enforcement agencies were involved in this, the FBI, the DEA, and others, they don't do business this way. This was an anomaly created maybe locally, but promoted by political appointees at a high level that should have known better and should never have allowed this to happen. And right now, we have no faith they wouldn't allow it to continue.
Unbelievable. Congressman, thank you for your time tonight on our special. And